Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do kind of a fun little video. I want to do a color mixing video. I thought it would be a good idea to do this kind of a video because it would help you probably in deciding what colors you might want to purchase. I know for me, whenever I can see the mixing capabilities of a color, it is a huge deciding factor in whether or not I'm going to purchase that color. I think I'm going to do, I saw Oliver Pyle do this kind of a swatching with his color palette, and I think I'm going to borrow that model where basically each sheet is focused on one particular primary color, and then you'll get to see how they mix with all the other colors on my palette. So we'll start with my reds and purples. Okay, so now I'm going to swatch out the colors just as they are so we can see what they look like. So now, I'm not going to mix Potter's Pink with my other reds. I'm just going to focus on mixing it with the other colors in my palette. So the first color up here is going to be my burnt orange color. And that's a really pretty color. Okay, so now let's see, I'm going to do Potter's Pink again. And this time we're going to do, this is my yellow ochre. I'm trying to just do 50-50 on these mixes if I possibly can. It's very similar to the burnt orange. I'm trying to make these small because I don't want to run out of room. I have a feeling I'm going to, that this wasn't as planned out as it should have been, but oh well. Okay, so now we're going to do New Gamboge and Potter's Pink. These are all very pretty sandy colors. I love this mixture, the yellow ochre and the Potter's Pink. That looks like a very pretty sandy color. Okay, so now we're going to get into the greens, and I have a feeling these are going to look kind of brownish. This first color. So my first green is Forest Brown. I'll go ahead and have this up there so that you all can see what I'm mixing with, but mixing Potter's Pink and Forest Brown. I'm trying to get a little stronger of a mix here. If you notice, my palette is perfectly clean. I cleaned it off on purpose because I knew I was going to need a lot of space. Ooh, that is really pretty. This color will be really granulating because both of these colors are granulating. We have a super granulation color and a granulation color. So this is Forest Brown. Okay. Now let's see, Undersea Green. These mixes, you could probably get them even darker. I'm just trying to do quick, small mixes. It's a really pretty color. Lots of earthy tones. Potter's Pink is great for making earthy tones. It's a pretty gray-green. This one is Forest Green. Okay, so now we're moving on to Greenish Umber. That's a very powerful color. It's like a pinky, greenish gray, slightly blue too. It's a very lovely color. See, I would have never thought to mix some of these mixes, but if I want some more neutrals and don't want to use just straight red and green to make a gray or a black or whatever, these are really pretty. This one is Forest Blue. My palette's going to have some really pretty mixes on here once we're done. These two are pretty similar, although the gray is a little stronger than the Greenish Umber one. Okay, next we have Lunar Blue. Another pretty gray. Basically, Potter's Pink is toning down all these colors to a very subtle neutral, which I'm loving. So next is Helio Turquoise, which is another very powerful color. Ooh, this is really pretty. This almost looks like what I've seen swatches of Haze Pink, which is a color I've been wanting but have not gotten my hands on yet. But now I'm like, I think I've got the colors that I'd like already on my palette. See, that's what I mean. Like, you discover mixes you didn't know you had doing something like this. Okay, so the next color is French Ultramarine. These are both granulating colors, so this would be another granulating mix. This one is Mgrams Anthraquinone Blue. This one also re-wets fairly easily because it's got honey in it. So you can see all these blues, they're similar, but they're all slightly different in the end result. That's a lovely purple. This is Sodalite Genuine. Again, two granulating colors. Ooh, that is a lovely color. The last one is going to be Potter's Pink and Payne's Gray. But gosh, look at these colors. The Payne's Gray and the Sodalite are going to be fairly similar. Didn't get quite as much. I absolutely love these mixes. Okay, we'll look at them some more when they dry, but let's go ahead and move on to the next color. Perylene Violet. Okay, so here's Perylene Violet. Oh, I forgot to just do straight Perylene Violet. Let's do that first. Lovely color. Now here is the mix with Burnt Orange. That's a really pretty color. Very vibrant. Okay. I said I was going to go smaller, and I'm not going smaller just yet. We'll work on it. Perylene Violet re-wets quite easily, which is nice. My Schmincke colors, and just what I've been using so far, my Schmincke colors are my favorite in terms of usability. They re-wet the easiest out of all my colors, but they don't re-wet too easily like some of the colors that I have. So while I love the colors on my palette that have more honey in them, like the Anthraquinone Blue and so it's Anthraquinone Blue and Greenish Umber. While I love those two colors quite a bit, it is a little inconvenient when you're trying to be careful with, not using too much paint. Those two colors, it's real easy to pick up too much. Same with the Jackson's colors. I think the Jackson's colors must have a lot of honey in them because they re-wet really easily. And for some things that I paint, that's actually really nice. But I would prefer to have it like the Schmincke consistency because then it's not too easy to re-wet, but I can re-wet it enough if I need to get off a significant amount of paint. It's not that difficult to do. So anyway. Okay, Yellow Ochre looks really pretty. Let's get in a new Gamboge mix. These are all very pretty autumn colors. Which is one of my favorite things to paint, is autumn scenes. So now we're getting into the greens. This is Forest Brown. It's a very nice brown. This is Undersea Green. That's a great, very neutral brown, and it would be granulating because the Undersea Green is granulating. Great if you want kind of a neutral green for trees. Okay, now we're getting into, oh, that's the Greenish Umber. Ooh, that's a really pretty, almost purpley brown. Yeah, that's a lovely color. This is Forest Blue. It's a very pretty purple. Yeah, I'm loving these. These would be a great autumn palette with just Perylene Violet and every other color on my palette. Okay, now we're into Lunar Blue. I burned through it really quickly, but I love it so much. I'm thinking about trying, let me know if any of you have tried it. I'm thinking about trying a Schmincke Glacier color to compare, see which one I like better. I'm thinking perhaps, I don't know which one would be comparable. Be Glacier Turquoise, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So this is Helio Turquoise with the Perylene Violet. I keep saying this is a lovely color, but they all are. This would also be some good night landscape colors. All right, now we're doing French Ultramarine. It's gonna be a warmer purple. I refilled my Anthraquinone Blue last night and it still isn't totally dry, so I'm having to be careful not to just plunge my brush into it. M-gram colors take quite a while to dry. If you like smoother colors and richer paints, M-gram is a great one. Okay, so now we're on to Sodalite. Ooh, that almost reminds me of Moonglow. But I think it would probably be more light fast than Moonglow. Moonglow is not as light fast of a color. I love it, but I don't use it as much because of that. I don't sell originals yet, although actually by the time this video goes up, there will be 2 originals in my shop. One is a 4-edge painted book, and then the other is an original of a castle painting that I really love. I'm wanting to branch out and start selling originals. I've been too attached, but I'm going to start doing it this year, I think. Because I know people like to buy original artwork. It's not that prints aren't special, they are, but there's something magical about having an actual painted piece of art. I forgot to label these. This one is Sodalite, and this one is Payne's Gray. Since I have room, I'm going to do the black. Ooh, that's lovely. Now I'm curious. I'm going to have to do the Potter's Pink. I'll just do it up here. And that's really pretty too. That'd be a pretty sand color as well. Okay, so far I'm absolutely in love with all these colors. Let's go to Carmine now. Make that a little bit, yeah, that's better. Just in case you're wondering, when I do the swatching for burnt orange, I'm going to put it with my yellows since I've already got purples and with my reds. Because I've only got 2 yellows, and so I thought it'd be better to go ahead and put it there. This is yellow ochre. Carmine's a very powerful color, so it kind of takes over the other color pretty quickly. I try to maybe replace it with a different red. We'll see. I'm going to try to see what mixes I can get, obviously. Maybe there's some colors that I don't realize that I could use that I would love to use. But if I end up not using Carmine very much, I'm probably not going to keep it on my palette. I definitely won't keep it on my palette. I'll make room for something that I will use. But I think I might be surprised by some of the browns that I can get. So now we're getting into mixing the greens. That's a pretty warm reddish brown. Oh, I forgot. This is New Gamboge. This is Forest Brown. undersea green. Okay, see, that's a nice brown, so maybe I should keep. The thing is I did get some really nice browns out of Perylene Violet that I like a little better than these browns. Well, we'll just keep going. Now we're doing forest green. There. Okay, now we're going to do forest blue. Or no, take that back. This is green umber and I grabbed way too much again. Okay, now this is an interesting color. This is like a rich purple. And that's a lovely color. This is forest blue. By the way, if you're wondering, this is my Princeton 10 long round. Love this brush. I love the long rounds. What was I on? Oh yeah, lunar blue. I'd love to know what some of your favorite mixes are. Especially if there's any that are somewhat unconventional mixes that you don't hear people talking about as much. Okay, now we're on to ultramarine. It's going to be a very vibrant purple. Anthraquinone blue is the next one. These would be pretty for florals. See, here's the thing. I don't really use purple a lot in my work. At least not a reddish purple. If I'm going to use a purple, it's going to be more in this range here. It's going to be a shadow color. Pinky purples, I just don't use as much. And maybe I should. And the last one, lunar black. Okay, I wrapped off some space. It was sad because that was such a lovely puddle of colors. Okay. English Venetian red. Let's first do the main swatch. This color has gotten a lot of use. It's probably not going to be much different than the quinacridone burnt orange, but we'll go ahead and do it. Yellow ochre and English Venetian red are both opaque colors, and so together they make quite an opaque mix. When you mix Venetian red with New Gambos, you get a lovely pumpkin color. Look at this. My apologies, I had to take a phone call, and now there's some landscaping being done outside, so if you hear some loud noises, that's what it is. Okay, so we have done New Gambos, so now we're into the greens. These are going to be some browns, I'm sure. So we're going to start with forest brown and English Venetian red. See what we get. Next is undersea green. I truly apologize for that noise. It's not nearly the ambiance that I wanted for this video, but what can you do? Okay, next is forest green. This almost reminds me, I had a color in my A Gallo palette, or have a color in my A Gallo palette. It's called French Ochre, I believe. I think that's what this color is, but regardless, I have a color like this in my A Gallo palette, and I love it, but it's very transparent, and so this would be a nice opaque version of that. Next we have greenish umber. That's a pretty brown too. All right, forest blue. I actually have done this mix before and it's a really nice color. If you like painting forests or earthy scenes, English Venetian red is your color. All right, next is lunar blue. I'm actually gonna add a little bit more blue. So this one's kind of a grayish brown, good for rocks. Obviously for any of these mixes you can add more of one color or the other and get something different, but ooh, I love that color. It's helio turquoise. Okay, so this mix right here is one I've been using a lot, and I used it in a recent piece, the one of the castle. It's ultramarine and English Venetian red. Get a little bit more ultramarine in there. It's a really pretty shadowy color. Good for clouds too. Anthracnone blue gets a similar color. Onto sodalite. I haven't labeled these last few. Just two colors left. We have Payne's Gray. And then black, lunar black. All right, so these are my reds and purples mixed with every other color on my palette. So let's do a close-up of them now. So hopefully you can see all these different mixes. Trying to avoid my tripod here as I show you. But this is a beautiful range of earthy colors. Notice there aren't very many bright colors, but that's because I don't really paint with very many bright colors. If you had some brighter reds, less earthy reds, then you would get very different mixes. But that all depends on what your subject matter is, just what colors you're drawn to, things like that. If I had to pick some favorites, I think I would pick this forest blue mix, the helio turquoise and potter's pink mix, this is Payne's Gray here, I forgot to label that one, but I would pick the sodalite mix, that's a favorite. I love this one, already said that. This one's a really pretty gray. I also like this forest brown and Perylene violet. This undersea green. So if you can tell, my favorites so far are gonna be Potter's Pink, Perylene Violet, and my blues. All right, so that's the end of this color mixing video. The next time we do this, I'm going to starting with my yellows, and we'll go through everything. There'll be obviously some overlap because we already mixed the reds with the yellows, but that doesn't really matter because I want to be able to see, I want to be able to pull out a card and know every single mix that I'm going to be able to get with the reds on my palette or the yellows on my palette. Next time we'll probably do this next month. We'll do the yellows and the oranges. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this video was helpful to you. Maybe it helped you think about some new colors that you'd like to try or new mixes, or just inspired you to take the colors that are already on your palette and come up with mixes of your own. I will see you guys next time, and I hope you have a lovely day.